The BAME Vision logo, four solid circles from left to right in colours of brown, tan, coffee and beige, with the words BAME written in white within them, with the word Vision written in tan underneath, and below the words Supporting Ethnically Diverse Communities with Their Eye Health and Sight Loss in brown. BAME Vision presents Celebrating Blind and Partially Sighted Mothers with Anita Barzey. Can you tell us what your role is and describe what you do?
So I actually run two businesses. The first is Motivate Me Tutors, which is a tuition agency. We're quite small, and we prepare students for the 11 plus exam mainly. And we also support students with GCSE English, predominantly English and drama preparation. And then secondly, I'm an independent travel consultant. So I help people book the holidays. It's really as simple as that, really.
How did you get into your job?
The tuition was an accident, and it was an accident. I had been working in a school and living in London. My wage just wasn't really going far enough, and I used to travel quite a lot. So I decided to start doing some private tuition. And at first, I was only going to do the private tuition for about a year because I wanted to travel. So I said, I'm going to work for a year as a private tutor, doing some private tuition on the evenings and weekends. And I actually really enjoyed it and was very good at it, and decided to leave my job at the school and went full time as a tutor. And that was almost 10 years ago. And then how did I get into travel? Travel was an accident again, was an accident. I'd always wanted to work in travel because I'd traveled quite a lot before kids. And I had started to look at different opportunities in travel, so like different sort of travel franchises. And I started to look at them actually when I was pregnant with my first son. But I wasn't sure how I was going to do the transition from education to travel. So I kind of put it on the back burner again. And then I decided to make the plunge about two and a half years later. I decided to make the plunge and actually went to see a business consultant and see if I can get some business funding to buy into a travel franchise. And I started doing a business plan, and then I found out I was pregnant again with my second child. And then I realized there's no way that I'd be able to invest in a travel franchise at that moment. So I then put that on the back burner again. And I was on Facebook one day, and I'd been following this lady because someone said to me, if you want to do something, try and surround yourself around people that are actually doing what you want to do. So I'd been following all these people that had things like travel agents, independent travel consultants. And I'd followed this one lady who I'd been following her journey for about 3 years. And all of a sudden, she decided that she was leaving her travel franchise and was setting up on her own. And I continued to watch what she was doing. And about 6 months later, after continuing to watch her, she announced that she was looking for people who wanted to start their own business using her business branding and business name, and they would run their own business underneath her franchise. And I jumped at the opportunity because for me, it felt like it was the right thing to do, but also it just felt like it was the right time. I forgot to add that my daughter was only 8 weeks old at the time. So it all felt mad. When I'm telling the story about now, it sounds mad and feels mad, but it just felt like the right thing to do. So I had a 2.5-year-old and an 8-week-old baby, and I decided to embark on a journey as a independent travel consultant.
Do you get support with your work?
So at the moment, I'm not using any. I get some help from like a virtual assistant who does just some admin stuff for me. In all honesty, I probably need to go and I need to get some more support actually, and I have just applied.
Which assistive technology, gadgets and devices do you use?
I use like the Zoom feature. I don't use any. I used to use Dolphin. I don't have anything like that on my laptop at the moment, but I did used to use Dolphin. I use a lot of voiceover stuff. So if I need to read stuff, I'll use the voiceover feature on my laptop. I magnify everything. I zoom into everything. And I always try to request large print where possible. But that is actually, I wrote this down the other day. I actually need to get some more support because I think sometimes I will struggle on do something that should only take me half an hour. It might take me an hour and a half. And that's not great. Yeah, I definitely need to actually look at more support for myself and my business.
Balancing motherhood and work life.
Oh gosh, I don't think I always balance it very well, if I'm honest. But I think one of the things that I do is I like to plan ahead. I plan ahead. You know, I look at my diary and I work out. I try to work out things in advance. I try to organize myself from the night before as well. So that's getting clothes ready the night before, getting bags ready. If we're going to be taking packed lunch anywhere, then having those sort of things ready. Um, and then I also have times when I just cut off. I don't, because I'm self-employed. You can literally work any time of the day. Um, and for me, sometimes I do work in the night. I can't get around that. Sometimes do work in the night. But then at least I've been able to do my mother duties in the day. And sometimes I do send emails at 9 o'clock at night because that's the time that I've had that day. Um, and then there are times that I don't work. I've got negotiable times I do not work. I never work on Sundays. Never. Um, Never ever take on any clients on a Sunday. And then even on a Saturday, I'm very precious with my time. So I will only have a few hours. If I do work on a Saturday, I've only got a few hours of work. I will never do the whole Saturday. So I think, yeah, it's just about having clear boundaries, and having, clear mother time, time when I'm actually mum, and then time when I'm actually running my business. That works really well for me.
One item you couldn't do without.
Oh, oh, my iPhone. My iPhone. Yeah, it's definitely my iPhone. Yeah, my iPhone. It does everything. It does everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely my iPhone. Yeah.
yeah. What do you feel is the biggest barrier for a blind or partially sighted mum building a career?
I think the biggest barrier is sometimes myself, because sometimes, your mind, sometimes you sometimes suffer from that imposter syndrome. So you think that you're not good enough because you are, whether it's because you're a mother or because you've got a disability, you sometimes doubt your own abilities. And I've had it a lot. I'm like, oh, I didn't do well because of my sight, or I didn't do well because I'm a mother. But so I say it's myself. I'm getting in my own way a lot of the time. Um, Sometimes not wanting to ask for help is something that I struggle with, asking for help when I need it. So I would say it's probably more mental blocks than physical ones, if I'm being honest. Um, yeah, they're definitely my biggest challenges. And how do I overcome them? Um, I think it's a work in progress. If I'm being honest, work in progress. I journal. I journal quite a lot, so that helps. Um, I've got a business coach as well. Talk with my business coach about some of these kind of barriers. Um, yeah, it's a work in progress. I don't think I don't think it's something that's going to stop overnight. It's definitely a work in progress.
And finally, Anita's advice to other vision impaired moms looking to take that step into work.
I would say make a brainstorm, or write down a brainstorm of everything that you can do, and write down what you like to do. And I think there's no point getting out of bed in the morning for a job that you don't enjoy, or a career that you don't enjoy. I think it's better for you to be happy in work. And I think try to make work around your family. There's no point if, trying to get this 50-hour a week job and you've got to look after children. You have to sometimes, I think, be realistic. Unless you've got, a nanny, or, live-in nanny, or you've got really great childcare. I think you've got to be realistic. Be realistic about what you want out of life, and try and get a job that works around that, or create a job that works around family life and works around you actually having a life as well. Um, and do something that you're passionate about. I think there's nothing worse getting out of bed, for something that you just don't like doing. So yeah, finding something that you're passionate about.
Thank you, Anita, for taking part in part 2 of our BAME Vision Celebrating Blind and Partially Sighted Mothers series. It has been a pleasure hearing all of your nuggets of inspiration and hope, which I'm sure others will find very useful. To read Anita's blog, part 1 in the series, please go to our website, www.bamevision.org. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn for updates and new projects. Thank you for watching.